no sexual assault. So they find out, though, that prior to her retirement, this woman ran the best brothel in Las Vegas. So they have to go back in time to try to find out what she was involved with and who, looking for a motive. And so that allowed me to go back to the 60s and 70s, and knowing what I knew about crooked politicians and crooked cops and so forth, I was able to use that information to create the Vegas of that day. So it worked out well. That research not only was used in the nonfiction book, but I was able to use some of it in the fiction. So, and I'm now writing articles for Action Magazine, True Crime, and I just got started 2 weeks ago with an online called Examiner.com, and I'm the True Crime historian now for Examiner.com. So we'll see how that goes out. And I started the Blog Talk radio show on the internet. I have 3 shows on there. I do a true crime show called Juror 13, and we follow a lot of the current trials and cases like Haley Cummings and Haley Anthony. Right now we're all waiting for the Phil Spector retrial, and I guess there's a sick juror and they're off until Monday. I don't know if on our lifetime we'll hear about it, but anyway. And then I have a Las Vegas and the Mob show, and I have Collada on periodically, and I have, anybody see Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Well, Ray Liotta played Henry Hill. Well, I'm now involved with Henry Hill, and he's going to be my guest. In fact, he's coming to town for a Saturday morning event in Fresno. And it was funny, I got an email from his girlfriend over the summer, and she says, I was Googling organized crime in Las Vegas and your name came up. I said, wait a minute. She said, no, I was a writer. Okay. So she wanted to know if I would help them do some promotion in Las Vegas, but I had some contacts. So and then I got a call from my Meet the Author show. The guy said he was from a publicist. She said, my client has written a new book, and she said, I know you're not heavy into science fiction or romance. She said, I know you like crime, either fiction or true crime. She said, and this guy is a former associate of the Genovese family in New York City. Would you want to have him on your Meet the Author show? Just wrote his biography, My Father, My Don. His name is Tony Napoli. So I said, okay, and he sent me a copy of his book. And you know, they always say a book, the opening page, or at least the opening couple of pages, should be the hook. You need to hook your reader. And he starts out with a, I think it was 1993 scene, in which he goes to he comes home, he was an alcoholic at the time. He's since straightened out, but he was an alcoholic. He'd been on a 3 or 4 day binge. He comes home, and one of his daughters, who was enrolled in a junior college in New York City, is home. It was a weekday morning, and he knows that's not right. She should be at school. She never missed. He asked his wife, he said, how come the kids here? I don't know, she didn't feel like going into it. And he asked her older sister, his older daughter, how come your sister's here? I don't know, maybe she must have a headache. Well, he's not buying the explanation. He goes into the room, talks to the girl, and he gets her to admit that she had been sexually assaulted by one of her fellow students. And couldn't face him. She hadn't called the cops. Too embarrassed. So he says, get dressed. He said, you're going with me. We're going to school. He said, you're going to point out to me who this kid is, this student, and then you're going to leave. So I just want to know it's the right guy. No, Dad. Yeah. Close night. He said, I'll handle it. You don't have to be involved other than come. So they drive to the school, and she points out this kid. He was a biker type. I guess he's leaning up against the wall. And she saw, by the way, Dad, he carries a knife, a switchblade, his boot. He wore motorcycle boots. And she said, so be careful. He said, okay, so he sends her home. He goes up to the kid, and he grabs him, and he shoves him. He thought he was shoving him out a door onto the street. It turned out he was shoving him into a classroom. So Tony charges in after the kid. And just like the daughter said, the kid reaches in his boot. Tony takes the knife away from him, pulls his pants down, and takes care of business. And this is in front of a classroom full of students and teachers. And blood is a little like an oil belt. And, everybody's screaming. In fact, the instructor left and never came back. He never returned to work. So when Tony gets done, he didn't kill him, but he knew he had it. So he just goes out and finds a security guard and says, "I'm just going to stand here. We're going to smoke a cigarette till the cops get here." So, but that opening scene was the hook for me. I read that. I said, I got to see more. And in fact, Tony had actually been sent to represent the New York City family's interests in Vegas on 3 separate occasions. He was there when Frank Sinatra got his teeth knocked out at the Sands by the casino manager. And he had a unique way of dealing with scam artists and stuff. A little ride out in the desert. And, so he was very interested, and he did have a Vegas connection. But